Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. Now, for y'all, okay, let me
Mhm.
tone it down because I got to be professional. Okay, so I think my lash is about to fall off because I'm about to tear up. Today we have a wonderful guest. This is someone that's been on my, I don't want to use the word bucket list. This is someone that has been a guest I've been seeking, sought after. When he first came out, I said I got to interview this guy. So we're having a conversation with Mr. Al Reynolds. He is one of the most exciting person. He's the planet's most interesting influencer. Come a little closer. Let me make sure y'all hear what I'm saying. He is an influencer, not the typical influencer that you see on social media. When I say this man, he is right and tight, got it together, very professional. He's also a chief strategist and ambassador. Now, again, we're going to get your pen and paper because he's going to be dropping some gems. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me present my mentor in my head. I'm going to hit him up about that. My mentor in my head, Mr. Al Reynolds. Hello, Mr. Reynolds.
Hey, what's going on, Jackie? How you doing?
Look, right now, I'm 6 feet above ground and I'm talking to you.
Day, then that's a good day, right?
It's a great day. It's a
Whenever we're
great
above
day.
ground, it's a good day.
Let me say this. I followed your career and I am so freaking impressed by you. You
Mhm.
are the epitome of what a black man should be. This
Oh,
is what I'm saying. I
thank
just
you.
love your positivity. I love your loyalty. And let me tell you what I'm doing for you right now. I'm giving you your roses.
Thank
Okay?
you.
I'm giving you your roses because I just I watch you. I watch the little nuances that you do. So whenever you feel like, I wonder if someone's watching me or stalking me, that would be me. Okay, that would be me. So I want to start this off because I want this to be an educational, informative conversation.
Okay.
So for those who don't understand or know, what is a brand strategist?
So I feel like there's a little regurge on this. Do you hear that?
No, not on
Is
my
that my
end.
microphone? Okay, maybe so. So a brand strategist is more like a corporate strategist. All right. So I do corporate strategy for, some of Fortune 100 companies. My clients have been Gant Clothing Line, SiriusXM, Bank of America. Of course, I sent you my deck, and the list goes on and on. I work with what's considered the C suite, and I pretty much help strategize their growth and market share as it relates to their current and existing brand. So, for instance, SiriusXM, I worked on what was called the Urban View platform. And the Urban View platform was content that was created to attract more people of color to subscribe to SiriusXM. So, what I did was I sat with the individuals who are in their what would be considered the C suite, and I strategized with them on different types of content to create in order to attract more people of color to sign up for the subscription service.
So you're the reason why I've subscribed to Sirius XM. So you're the reason. Okay.
Well, if you
That's
listen to the Urban View platform,
yeah.
there are a number of incredible African American talent or women and men of color on that platform that we help create the content that speaks to the people who are using SiriusXM. So if you have it in your car and you are still subscribed, then yeah, I in the the from I think I started that I was in that job from 2014 or 2015 to 2018.
Wow. What mistake, when a person is working on their own business branding, what mistake do you think that people are making?
The biggest mistake I think that people make when it comes to their branding is consistency. I think a lot of people feel like that if something doesn't happen in a certain time frame, if they're not seeing a huge windfall in profits or huge infusion of likes or admiration for their product, they feel like they've done something wrong. or that the product needs to be changed or readjusted. And that's not always the case. There's always a digesting period in which the product, when it comes to market, people have to understand how to incorporate it into their lives. And so I think a lot of us who are new entrepreneurs find ourselves hoping for success much sooner, when if you enter the market correctly and build your relationships with strong clients or consumers, it may take longer for the absorption of it, but they stay with you longer. So your success curve will be more like up, 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 up than straight up.
Okay.
So I think a lot of us feel like, oh, if we have a great idea, that it has to be a win tomorrow
Right,
instead of
right.
putting in the time to give the consumer or the client time to really absorb what it is that you're offering and to then incorporate it into their life for the long term.
Look, I told y'all he was going to be dropping jewels. Did I lie? I told you he was going to do that. So I really want to get to Al the man because I just want to know the person that I've been looking up to. So now I'm getting to speak to. What do you want your legacy, or how would you like to be remembered? You're going to be alive 99 times 99 more years, but how would you like to be remembered?
Um, well, one of the things, I'm a God fearing man. I think if
Mhm.
you listen to me or follow me, you know that my faith and belief system is very strong to me. I'm also a very humble guy.
Yes.
So for my legacy, what I want to be known for is helping. I'm a servant leader. So I want to help everyone better their lives or get to the next level. I don't want to be the only person of fortune in the room. I want there to be multiple people of fortune in the room. And if that means that I need to share my secrets or share the process of how I got to that fortune, then that's what I want to be known for. I want to be known to help other people realize their dreams, become self sufficient, and rely on their strongest assets and abilities to be, self sufficient. So I guess I would say I would want my legacy to be one that could be inspirational, motivational, entrepreneurial in spirit, and helping people understand how to be the best version of themselves every day that they show up.
Listen, Al, let me tell you, it wasn't going to be this kind of an interview, but you already got me crying. And I'm not, this is again, it's a conversation piece. And the reason why you have me in tears, Al, and for those who are watching, is because I know you're a God fearing man. And I've seen you share where other people hold in.
Right.
And it's so good to see that you're very consistent. Because when I tell you, so often we don't, especially our black men, we
Mhm.
don't give our black, I'm sick of hearing black men or whatever people are saying. Look, I know black men are good because I'm married to a guy for 32 years, so
Oh
gotta
wow.
be something good about him. But what I like about you is you're so freaking humble and you inspire me, right? This is not a fan out, y'all. This is, we have to start giving flowers and our props to good men, not just black men,
Mhm. Mhm.
good men that are doing great things. And I just love the fact that you're always sharing. When I watch you with Claudia and Funky Dineva, you're constantly, you're even. You're never up and down, up and down. And
Right.
I'm, brother, I love you for that. I love you for that and your loyalty.
Thank
So,
you.
my
Because
next question, huh?
in this business, it's so easy to be try to be all things to all people, and trying to always stay in rotation or in like. And I feel like that's probably why there's a cancel culture now, because everybody flees what their true belief is. I try to stick to the core being of who I am at all times. Now, I will be open to understanding different perceptions and different ideas and concepts, but at the end of the day, I refuse to compromise my integrity for any fame or fortune. Like, I had a taste of that before, and
Mhm.
that just didn't work out for me. So, as I start to recalibrate in my life, and as I move and become older in this industry, I understand that if you want staying power, it has to come from the core being of who you are. It can't be trumped up, it can't be dressed up, it can't be hair and makeup. It has to be
Right.
what's inside of you that keeps you focused, keeps you sane, and keeps you in the industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, hi Tia, hi Kadon. I'm here to tell you, if you have a business and you're looking at a business model and you want to not possibly reach out to Al, I'm telling you, when I say he's one of the most realest person, and y'all know I don't just give out stuff like that because that's my credibility. He is phenomenal. Go follow his pages. Are you what's your social, what's your Instagram page?
So my Instagram is DL Reynolds. So that's TheAL Reynolds, Reynolds. So on that page, you're going to see a lot of like what I'm promoting as it relates to the show and some of the things that I do. But yeah, that's definitely the best way to reach out to me.
Yeah, reach out to him. I'm telling you, if there's corporations that you know that are looking for, look, I'm acting like his PR
I
person
know, right?
for a brand
More, more,
strategist
more, more. Don't stop, don't
and
stop.
his ambassador. Please, I'm telling you, go follow his pages. And I'm telling you, you could just duplicate what he's doing with your business. Reach out to him, follow, subscribe. I'm telling you, he's phenomenal. Y'all know how I'm not, I'm all about it now. So, my question to you, because you're doing so many things, and this is so important for me to ask this question:
Sure.
how do you practice self care, and how important is self care for you?
I got to be honest with you. I didn't realize the importance of self care until COVID happened. In the old days, self care for me came in three forms. Um, prayer. Obviously, when I get up, I'm a Southern I'm a Southern guy at heart. I get up, I'm listening to gospel music while I'm getting ready, brushing my teeth, doing that, doing my prayers, being thankful. I work out. I work out a lot. Obviously, I used to be a triathlete, so I spend a lot of time working on my physical self as well as my emotional and mental self. And mentally, I have a therapist. I have someone that I speak to, and I use my therapist as my life coach, just to help me process the thoughts that I have going through my head and how I show up to the world. Is it making sense? Am I on the right track? Am I doing what my calling is? So those are kind of the three ways that I use to manage my self-care. Now I've added a whole different element to it, which Jackie, maybe you know this because you have this show. Uh, there is an element of your self-care where you have to give back.
Yes.
You can't just absorb and take and take and take and take. You have to push that energy back out of your body and you have to feed and water other people. And that is the best self care for a person like myself. And I've noticed that in the last 10 years, that gives me the most satisfaction in life. So instead of me internalizing everything and trying to figure it out all on my own, I inject it back into the community. And I do that in ways of my fraternity. I do that. I still teach vacation Bible school. I go to church. You know what I mean? And that's my way of pushing my energy back out, which is very important for self-care, because if you try to manage all this energy by yourself inside
Yes.
yourself, it then manifests as sheer stress, and sheer stress turns into different disease states. Some of
Right.
it looks like diabetes, some of it looks like obesity, some of it looks like high blood pressure, some of it looks like cancer. So it's very important that you release that, and you can release it in a very positive way when you start to breathe life into other things like giving back, giving to the homeless, acts of kindness, just that expression or that exhaling of your energy outside of yourself is a new component of my self care.
And I'm glad because I'm always asking people because I do meditation and sometimes this can be very stressful. So what I try to do is not try, I meditate. I'm all about positive affirmation. And what
Mhm,
I've
mhm.
done recently for me is I decided I can love you from a distance because there's some people, I'm all about positivity. I'm allergic
Mhm,
to negativity. I break out in hives. So what
mhm,
I've
mhm.
decided to do is just hang around people who are like-minded like myself. And if you're not, I'm not putting you in the back of the room. I'm getting you out of the building entirely. That's what
Right.
I chose to do. So Kadon wants to know if that's so true. Well, her comment is that's so true. Helping others is helping ourselves, taking the time to have compassion for others. And
Mhm,
she also said purposefully living, meditation is essential. That is so
mhm,
true.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I mean, because so often we have to be strong, Black women, Black men. And I'm all about therapy. I have my therapist now. It's almost, and I try to remind our people that when you have to change your oil every 3,000 miles.
That's
So
right.
for me, I check in with my therapist to make sure everything's okay. And
That's
I'm
right.
not above telling people seek therapy because sometimes your best friend can't help you. You need an
Right.
unbiased, you know.
That's true. Church can't help you always. We all process things differently, right? So at the end of the day, we just want affirmation or reassurance that A, we're going to be okay, B, there's hope for a better life, and C, we're on track to doing and being and going where we're supposed to go. So,
What has COVID taught you?
ooh, COVID's taught me that I have to get out of my own way as it relates to my fears of thinking I have time to get something done. Okay. So, instead of just conquering, stepping up to stuff immediately, I'll say, oh, I'll get to that next week, or oh, I'll put that on my agenda for next month. COVID's taught me that we're not necessarily guaranteed next week,
Mhm.
and we're not necessarily guaranteed next month. And the thing that COVID taught me the most is that once again, if you don't find a way to express your positivity or your you gotta the COVID just taught me that it's just such I was pent up in COVID. Like I am a very social person, obviously, right? So
Mhm.
when that was cut away and I wasn't able to express myself or let my energy out, then I felt like I was in prison of some sorts and that I couldn't be my authentic self. And that forced me to go through a series of like depression. I don't know if I can
Yes.
say that it's depression in a different way. I don't know if many people went through this, but I have to see, feel, and touch stuff. Like that's just the nature of my being, and not being able to do that made me depressed in some way. And then on top of that, just seeing all the sickness and death in our community just made me feel like I needed to do more or I needed to do something. And what's so interesting, Jackie, was then God blessed me tenfold because I kept praying, what can I do or what should I be doing? And in fact, he gave me the job at TGIF at Fox Soul. And what he did was he gave me a voice that I never had before in entertainment. He made me a part of a panel that made people laugh in times of darkness. And it also gave me an opportunity to educate people in that process. And so it just really just brightened my soul to be able to do that. So in the middle of COVID, in the middle of all this death and disease, he allowed me to serve as a light, and that light was being coming on television twice a week and making people laugh and making people think and taking people's mind off of the other situations that they have going on in your life. And in the process of doing that, it gave me life. It gave me what I needed that I had pent up and not knowing how to express myself.
Kadon said, we yeah, that we love. Listen to me. Look, you're not a super fan now, so I don't want to hear it. They wrote, we loved TGIF. It is it's the perfect personalities that are
Mhm.
together. I just love it because we know Claudia, Funky, and then you. I just love it. And for me, I understand what you were talking about with depression because I'm a social butterfly. I'm a hugger, I'm a
Me
shake a hander, I'm a networker. And I started to, experienced in the first time in my life, panic attacks. I'm talking about full blown panic attacks.
hmm
And because I couldn't go out, and then when we were shut down, so I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? I need to do more shows. And that kind of has helped me. And again, for those of you who don't know TGIF, you guys have to make sure you go on YouTube and watch them. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Y'all know I don't be pushing other people's stuff like this now, okay? But I'm telling you, it is just so good, informational, and it's not messy. And that's what I love about it. You know, you have a little stuff in there, but it's not like a gossipy. It's just, and when you listen to Al's perspective, all three perspective, you'll definitely agree with one of the three.
Right, you'll find something for sure. Everybody will find something. You know, if you're into gossip and messy, we got you. If you're into facts and research, we got you. If you're into the female emotional perspective, we got you. Anything you need, I really feel like that this show can offer it to you, and we do it with a different spin.
Mhm.
And I think that's what attracts people to the show the most.
Well, what I'm going to say, I'm putting this out there. Unfortunately, there's some issues going on with Wendy Williams. So in the interim, can we get TGIF on television? Okay, I'm putting that out there
Yeah,
because
let's
it's
put that
that
all the way
good.
up there.
Let's manifest it. It is that good. So one of the questions, Kadon, I had that question too. I was going to ask him, what would you tell your younger self? I wrote, and I was thinking, what would you tell 25-year-old, 21-year-old Al?
Believe it. Believe yourself. Like, stop questioning yourself. Um, surround yourself. I think, Jackie, you said this early. Surround yourself around people that support you and not see you as competition. Even if it's awkward. Like, I wish, I worked on Wall Street, so I worked in a very competitive environment all the time. So we're constantly being compared. And I would listen to people. I think, especially when you're in a competitive environment, people spend more time trying to convince you that you're not as good as you think you are. And I just think the mindset of thinking you're the best is good regardless, even if you're not the
Mm-hmm.
best. Keeping that
Mm-hmm.
positive attitude is good. What would I tell the younger me? I would tell the younger me to uh, surround yourself around people that look the way you want your life to look and be. Find yourself someone to breathe life into all of your dreams, and find a cheerleader, and not just a family member, but someone outside of your family to be the ultimate cheerleader for you. And, the younger me, you got to have faith. Like, stop questioning yourself so much and walk in faith. I think the last 20 years of my life, I've been trying to walk in faith without trying to figure it out on my own and do it my way. Sometimes you just have to relinquish that control and that thought process that you know the best way to be you, and walk in faith and let God direct your path. And He always, it's written, He gives you everything that you've ever desired and even more, but you have to have the faith to receive it.
Amen. And for those of you that are still sitting on the fence, not sure if you should do what you have to start working in your purpose, in your life
Right.
passion, because you don't want to be in that hospital bed when that time comes, shoulda, woulda, coulda. There's no such thing as failure. At least try. At least try to, because everyone has dreams, everyone has a purpose. So please start living your purpose. Now, Al, what books are you currently reading or you have read that you would like to recommend? At least two, other than the Bible, but at least two, if you can.
Oh my goodness. So there's so many good books out there.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, I use this app called Headway. That's Headway. So I recommend Headway. Two books that I think that really helped me recalibrate my mindset was definitely The Secret.
Yes.
You believing positivity, what you put out is what you attract in. Even though when you first read the book, just conceptually, you're like, okay, what exactly is this? I think the underlying lesson here is that you are not going to be able to achieve it if you can't see it or think you're possible or that it's possible. So the secret is in order to attract greatness, you have to think and believe greatness. So that's one book that I say um, definitely would read. I would say as far as an app, because apps are more important these days than books.
Right.
I would use Headway, and those are audio books that can teach you different principles and concepts based on what it is that you're working on. So if you're working on patience, or if you're working on personal wealth or generational wealth or whatever it is, you can find that topic and listen to people who have done and been successful in that realm of what you're trying to do. And just hearing people talk, it just motivates you in a different way.
Now, what do you think is one of the most single? I know there's a lot, single thing that has contributed to the breakdown to our family, our African American community, our family. What do you think?
Oh, the single thing that I think it's honestly, if you ask us, we would say economic disparity. I feel like we think that everything could be solved if we had money.
Mm-mm.
If we just had money, we feel like that we could solve it. So a large portion of our community is out there, hook or crook, trying to get money. And what we see is that that's not the solution, right? So I think there's a number of things that can be contribute to the breakdown of our community. One is the misconception of how powerful we are and our power in the economic structure of the United States economy. We are huge consumers and we are huge spenders in the economy, and we need to readjust our influence in that space. That's number one. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right. Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation. Another thing is that we as a nation are recalibrating how we're perceived. We've always been perceived and thought that we're less than. And so once you that enters into your psyche, your expectations of what you can do becomes less than. So I think another breakdown in our community is just our self-perception of how powerful we are. So I think we need to be retaught our power. And then the other thing is that regardless of what we want out of life, we still have to believe that education is the key. And education doesn't always come with a degree, but you have to continuously educate yourself on not the correct way, or you just have to educate yourself to stay in tune with what's going on, not only just in the United States, but in the world, so that you understand your true value and what it is that you want to get out of this world, right? So I would say the breakdown in our community comes probably somewhere around in there, believing that money's going to solve all our problems, not believing how powerful we are, and using that power, which has been wonderful to watch these last couple of years,
Mhm.
watching us step in that space and say, hey, we're not going to take this anymore, and we getting different results from that. And then also I think something else that our community could do better is in our quest to support Black women, we cannot abandon the Black man and understand his role and his importance, because the Black man, I don't care what anybody said, has been replaced in the workforce and in the power dynamic and structure of the United States by other women. And they have used, in some cases, African American females, women of color, as the scapegoat. And that to me, is something that we have to recalibrate on, because if not, we're going to find that our presence as Black men, as they continue to diminish us, we're going to be diminished, right? So I just, and I know that's very controversial, but we still need to be working on, as we empower our Black women, we need to also be making sure that our Black men are in power, I in power. Okay. And the reason why we need Black men to be in power and not empowered as much is because we need to be at the table. We need to be in the boardrooms making decisions for our families and our community that affects our bottom line and the economic structure that we participate in.
I so agree with you because that's why it's called Women Are Worthy, but I still interview men because I want to be inclusive and not exclusive. And
Mhm.
there's this saying and this is really what I'm talking about, when a Black woman goes to church, it's a family, and a Black woman goes to church, not everyone in the household has to go to church. When
Right.
a Black man, the husband, the baby daddy, whomever lives in that house, when he goes to church, the whole family better get up and go to church.
Well, they
So,
do. They do. But
you know,
they
so
do, right?
that's why I want us to remember, because I'm a proponent for Black men, period. Because I think, particularly in the Black men's circle or space, they get a bad rap just because there are a couple of knuckleheads out there. So I'm
Mhm.
always talking and always wanting to interview or have conversations with men in that space so I can break down the walls with women talking about all men are dogs. Sometimes you are what you attract.
I
Okay.
agree. Yeah.
Sometimes you are. So you have to be mindful and we have to be careful what we're putting out there because other people are watching it and we don't want anyone to break down our Black men. So I'm here to lift and as much as I can and not emasculate them. That's a whole nother story.
Oh no, this
So to date, my question to you is, do you celebrate your wins, every win or everything that you like this show? Because it's so often we're so busy chasing the next thing, we don't take the time to decompress and celebrate our wins. Do you celebrate your wins, Al?
well, let me tell you, if you know anything about me, one of the things that I love to do is I love going dancing and enjoying my presence, giving what it is at that time. So I could be going through bad stuff and you'll still see me out having fun and trying to enjoy my life. It's the energy thing for me. Do I celebrate my wins? I do. I could do a better job though. I could spend more time receiving my roses, but I didn't grow up like that. Like my parents, my father was in the military and my mother was an educator. So it's just always like, you know, this is what was good today, but we got more to do for tomorrow. So we can't get caught up and become stagnant in the win today. But what I'm starting to do more as I get older is say, hey, let me take a breath and let me enjoy the blessing that was bestowed upon me today. And then tomorrow I know that there's still another journey for me to go on to have more wins.
And that's because I want to see that because I know you're doing so many things and I've noticed when I've interviewed our counterparts, they
Mhm.
celebrate their wins. We don't do that. We're like, okay, we got to do something tomorrow. How
Right.
can we, so I'm glad that you're doing that. To date, what have you accomplished that you just said, yes, pat on the back, humbly, but pat on the back because, right now we got to celebrate everything. So, what accomplishment that you've had that you said, yes?
So, I have a very huge accomplishment that if you look on my Instagram, I was a part of the largest racial discrimination case in the
Mm-hmm.
history of civil rights, which I would say is a huge accomplishment. It was huge for me as an African American banker to take on the establishment, and it take 8 years to get a victory to force them to have equality for people of color was a huge victory for me. It's probably one of my largest accomplishments. But then as I'm listening to you talk to me, I think I have to readjust that. One of my largest accomplishments to date has been during my marriage and after my marriage, I was mutilated, I was destroyed, I was canceled. And everything that I tried to do after my marriage, I was told, no, not here. No, we don't need you here. No, no, no. I received so many no's. My biggest accomplishment in my life is taking those no's and turning them into yes and not giving up. And even though I was knocked down and had to start over at such a late time in my life, I still got up, I dusted myself off, and I tried a different way. And so I would say one of my biggest accomplishments in life to date is not giving up on me, myself, and what I want out of me in my life. So there's so many instances in which I should have just packed it up and went away. And I didn't because I knew that that wasn't God's calling for me. God wanted me to learn a lesson and learn it in his time. And so not giving up in everything that I attempted to do and be is probably my biggest accomplishment.
I remember around that time when you was going through that. I don't know you personally, and I felt really bad. But it's just something in me that I knew you were going to come out of this. And to see, because I remember that, and to see you today. So when I said I've been riding with you, I've been riding with you, okay? Because I'm, raised in Brooklyn and all that stuff. And, there's this thing, the song that Frank Sinatra sings, if you make it here, you can make it anywhere.
That's right.
And I so believe that if I can make it out of the concrete jungle in New York,
You're gonna
Georgia
be
ain't got
okay.
nothing. I can accomplish anything, right?
Right.
So for me, that's how long I've been riding with you. So it's just so good. It's like I'm celebrating with a best friend. Like, yes, because when I saw you and Cast on that show, I'm like, yes.
Finally, it's you're right. I mean, because it's been what I mean, people don't know this, but it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years that I've been voiceless and people didn't know the real me. And I never offered an opportunity for them to know me because I had to take a back seat so often based on perception. And I am loving that people get to see the real me. And the funny part is the me that you're meeting right now is the same me from 20 years ago. I'm like a golden retriever. I'm the most consistent. The
Yes.
same today as I was yesterday. How I show up to the world is the same as I showed up yesterday, and that makes me happy that I can do and be that without any hesitation and without any regrets.
Kadon 77 says, yeah, I remember too. It's been good getting to know you. I know, right? Look, I'm doing my best. I let to talk, and sometimes I get a little wound up, and I'm learning that when I'm like fanning the person to just like, okay, suppress it, Jackie. They put on their pants one leg at a time
That's
and
it.
just have the conversation because your perseverance helped me, and I'm going to put this out there publicly. You're one of the reasons now I go back and talk about my involvement in sex trafficking, getting sex
Mm,
traffic and stuff. Because when I saw, most people were like, but Jackie, why isn't it a woman? It's not whether it's a woman, it's the story. Because you were mutilated in the press. And to
yes.
see you come back and to see you smiling and watching you on the show, you're intelligent, you're funny. And I remember Claudia said something. I remember her said, when she said that, yep, wait till you guys get to know Al. I remember when she said that because when I first saw this, I was happy and I'm like, how is this going to work? And that's when Gary was on there. I'm like, how is this going to work? And we start to see your personality. It's almost like you took off your wig. Not that you were hiding anything, but we actually get to see you,
Right.
and it's so freaking refreshing. So refreshing. So, what does peace look like to you?
Oh, these are such good questions. Peace to me, I would have to say, and I've said this 100 times before, peace to me would be a society, a community, a village without poverty, without disease, without depression. Um, Almost how I envision going to heaven is going to be like. That to me, and I told you I'm a Southern, I'm a country boy, Southern Baptist at heart. So that whole kind of like peace on earth is the equivalent to what heaven looks like. Peace to me is everyone knowing that they're going to be okay. Peace to me is knowing that you don't have to worry about feeding your family or paying a bill. Peace to me is enjoying your life and understanding what makes you tick and what your strongest assets are and focusing on that and not your deficiencies. Peace to me is, everybody being on the same social economic structure so that there's no inequities that exist or have to exist because one feels like they're better than the other. I think to me that would be my closest definition of what peace on earth would be.
Thank you. What songs are you listening to now? If you want to give one R&B singer, and if there's a gospel, what music do you listen to? If you are listening to any music.
Listen, my oldest brother, I'm the youngest of six. So my older brothers and sisters are 65,
Oh,
63, 60. So I grew up listening to Al Green, the Commodores, Lionel Richie, Anita Baker, like Gladys Knight, James Brown, like all of those songs really make my heart open up and tingle. So you can catch me listening to all that type of stuff. My mother was big with Frank Sinatra. The Rat Pack was really big for her. My dad was big on country music. But yeah, I think I'm an eclectic type of music listener because if you catch me on the right day, I will be right there, jamming to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and Lizzo, as well as Future and Kanye. I'm not a big Kanye fan anymore, but I can understand their artistry for sure.
yeah, see, and I'm with you on that because, in my car, thanks to you, me subscribing to that channel, that network, I listen to, I love listening to Frank Sinatra, the Temptations, the Stylistics, because that's what my
Yes,
father used to play.
right.
So any music like that. So I said, you know what, let me start interviewing the older artists. Like I'm going to be interviewing Shirley from the Jones Girls. I'm going to be interviewing
Nice.
her. So I want to start because I think no disrespect to the generation now, but I don't think they know of, because I was playing one of the songs and someone said, "Oh, that's Escape." I said, "No, that's the Jones Girls." So,
You listen to the remix of
yes. So I
uh,
just love those songs. When you mentioned Al Green, Smokey Robinson, and
all
yeah,
that.
we all say Diana Ross, but the Supremes. But I like the older music.
Yeah.
I just love this. I love the stylistics. Love, 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 love them.
Yep.
So yeah, she said Al is an empath, and blessings to you and your family.
Oh,
So I guess when you said energy, because I'm all about energy as well, and
mhm.
negative and positive. So I definitely agree with her on that. What are you grateful for?
Oh my goodness. One of the biggest things that I am grateful for is my family. I find all of my motivation and my admiration, like who I admire, who I look up to, I find that in my family structure. And I'm so grateful that God blessed me with all of my brothers and sisters. I'm so glad that I was assigned to my mom and my dad.
Oh,
They didn't always get it right, but they got it done. You know what I mean? And that has made me be the resilient person that I am today. So I don't have to look outside of my family tribe to find solace or to find focus or to find motivation. I look in my family. So I'm just so blessed that I was able to garner all of that within the eight of us. And I'm loving it because the offspring of that are my 11 nephews and my one niece. And I am now, because I'm an energy person, I'm living off of them. And they're teaching me to be a better version of myself. So yeah.
well, I
But
want to say
it's a
this.
blessing. Family can be a blessing and family can be a curse. But in my
I'm telling
particular case, yeah, in my particular case, it's been definitely more of a blessing. And I'm just grateful for it.
Well, I want to say this to your brothers, your sister, your mother and father. Thank God they did get it right, because the human being that you are, you're so loving, you're so giving, you're very respectful. You've taught me more about loyalty to friends
Mhm.
that I saw, and I just want to say thank you for being so loyal. Thank you for being truthful and not swaying because things could make you, well, let me jump on this bandwagon because
Right.
it's a good thing to do. And I'm glad you didn't do that. So I'm just going to, you have other things to do and I can keep you forever, but I can't. Can't keep him for an hour, y'all.
We'll come
He
back.
has other stuff to do. But I want to, first of all, I want to give you, I want God to cover you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I want him to surround angels around you.
Thank you.
Weapons will form, but it won't prosper. You hear me? Because we need more men like you.
Thank
Thank you for being a great role model because you understand the role you're given and
you.
you're so professional, you dress professionally, you speak professionally, you are just on it, doggone it, and I love it. So without further ado, Mr. Reynolds, I want to thank you for spending your time because you could have done other things because you're way up there and you can like now have time for this and you don't know what you have done. Today, my birthday is in January. You gave me my birthday present today. So I want to thank you for that. And for those of you, please make sure you watch, go on YouTube, Fox Soul. I mean, go on YouTube and you'll see it. It's TGIF Friday. And I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. You got to watch it, listen to what he has to say, because I'm telling you, get a pen, because when he talks, he's taking you to class. I'm telling you, he's taking you to class.
It's a fun class. But Jackie, let me just share something with you.
Sure.
Thank you so much for being, and I'm not just saying this, thank you for being you. Thank you for not giving up because I know we had some miscommunication on trying to make this day happen. And look how, with your persistence and your wherewithal, you were able to manifest this. And this is just an example of what your capabilities are. Okay. And if there's one thing that I can share, is that this is a calling for you, just as the same way this is a ministry for me. And ministries take time, right? They take time to build, they take time to manifest. And I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to pour into you and what you're doing and helping you. And in that process, also thank you for pouring into me with your niceties, with you sharing your platform and you sharing your energy. I really appreciate it today. And I look forward to us reconnecting in 2022 and doing something else for you and your listeners. Okay.
We will. Thank you, everyone. Tune in. And if you want to join our tribe, you must subscribe.
That's
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
You're very welcome. Take care.